Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. So today, this is a little bit late to the party, I have to admit, but I wanted to do a reading on the Year of the Dragon, the Chinese Year of the Dragon. And the inspiration for it kind of came from the fact that just before the Chinese New Year came into being this year, I saw this beautiful new deck called the Long Tarot, which is kind of a dragon-based deck, and I love dragons. So I thought, oh, that's cool. I'll get this and I'll do a Chinese New Year reading. And so I ordered the deck, and then silly old me didn't realise that the place that was actually printing and then sending them out was about to go on holiday for Chinese New Year. So hence it took a little bit longer to get the deck. But it got here eventually, and we're not that far into the Chinese New Year. So I think better late than never. So basically today we're going to be looking at the Chinese New Year and the Chinese Year of the Dragon and what that's going to mean for you. And what I decided to do in terms of focusing on it, we will kind of get a bit of a themic setting at the beginning, but I thought that I'd actually take some of the aspects of a Chinese dragon personality and sort of put it into the kind of elements in your life and how that dragon energy might be working for you. So the first thing we're going to look at is your speech and your outspokenness and your intellect, what you have to say. The second is going to be about your energy and generosity and kind of action with others. The third area is going to be your individuality, your perfectionism, your self-esteem, because dragons have a lot of pride and energy and like things done really, really well. And then we'll see what is the world. If that's how you're bringing out your dragon energy, what's the world bringing you? And we'll use some other oracle decks beyond that to look into it. But the main thing is to really have some fun with this new dragon tarot. So as I often do, I asked Spirit to give me the first three major arcana that came out for the piles to give us a bit of a scene setting and to help with the choice. So for pile number 1, we have Temperance. For pile number 2, we have Death. And for pile number 3, we have the Hanged Man. So if any of those sort of cards or energies or visuals draws you, that's fine. You can certainly go to more than one reading if you like. But when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, as always, I've got the timestamps in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome everybody to, welcome pile 1 to your reading. I was about to say welcome everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot, but of course you're at Eye of the Serpent Tarot. Welcome pile 1 to your reading. So you are here for the Temperance. You came to Temperance. Temperance is interesting how it's depicted here. We have the normal person with a water-bearing thing, but they're actually pouring the water out. What we do see is a balance of dragon energy, a sort of older and a younger dragon energy, which is sort of interesting with the 5th house coming out. So I think there's actually two really clear messages here that'll help you know whether you've come to the right reading. There's two focuses, I would say, on the dragon year for you, and both of them might be the case, or one may be followed by the other, depending upon what's going on kind of in your love life and family life, to be honest. Because one focus of this, when I sort of see the older dragon and the younger dragon, I see the sort of children sort of shown here. The children are associated with the 5th house, love and romance, families, all that kind of thing is associated with the 5th house. There may well be an emphasis on the relationships in your life, including ones that could either lead to sort of like a long-term love relationship if you're not in it already, you know, the concept of will we have children, all of that kind of thing. And that could be a very big focus in terms of how you manifest that with Virgo and what changes do you need to make to your material life to make that occur. The other way of reading it is you're already there. You're already in a family. You already have like children if you're going to have children, or you have broader family connections, or you're in love and you're thinking about all of those things, and that's already in play. And if that's the case, I think it might be a balance between that side of your life and your work life. So there might be a whole big energy of work-life balance. And then I would take the imagery of this as indicating that maybe there is a little bit more, if I sort of feel like the orangey dragon here feels a bit more like Virgo. There's been a really big emphasis recently on kind of like career, material things, that sort of stuff. And maybe you are needing in this year to put more of an energy into, you know, the relationships you have around you and get that into balance. So it could be either of those things, and it's probably going to depend on who comes to the reading. But I think overall it is a sense of balancing head and heart, work life and home life, love and the manifestation, what kind of structure you want for that, all of those sort of things. But I think it's also very beneficent. I feel like those are two very strong positive energies to have with this, because it feels to me as though it's around bringing into being what you want, and it being close to your heart and to the people that are closest to you. And the Temperance card makes it very nicely balanced for you. So if that's the theme of the Year of the Dragon for you, getting your sort of like home life and love life and your work life or your vocation or whatever it might be in balance, let's see how the aspects of a dragon energy are operating with you. So the first one, as I said, is kind of your speech, your outspokenness, your intellect, because dragons are very smart. They like to say what they think. They have strong opinions. They're confident. So how is that going to manifest in your life in 2024? Six of Pentacles reversed, Five of Pentacles reversed, Four of Pentacles reversed. Wow, we've got a lot of Pentacles. Judgment reversed, Knight of Wands. Okay, I think that you have for a while, and this is where there's a shift going to happen, I think you have for a while been a little bit circumspect in what you would say. You've had particularly strong judgments or thoughts about what was going on, and you may have felt in either in terms of love or in career that you weren't really following your calling. This is going to shift. It's a very fiery energy. You may even like shift where you live for love, shift where you live for work, or, like expand your family, home, something like that. There is a sense where you're moving more towards what you want, because this year is going to bring you more into connection with your equals, like materially and so forth. It could be getting a promotion, starting your own business and working with sort of colleagues at a similar level and connecting more to people. But it's after a period of time where you've almost dissolved old foundations that were not what you wanted it to be. So I feel like this is a very material year for you. You're going to be very clear in what you want materially. If anything around what you were doing with your work and building it was having an impact on your love life or your home life, you're going to sort that out. Nothing that is unstable will hold this year. You're going to say what you want. You're going to bring the right people in to connect with you, and you're going to connect more with what you want to do and get that sort of thing in balance. But it wouldn't surprise me if you move home as a result of this, because the Knight of Wands is a classic moving home card. You don't have to, but if it's you move because you met somebody and fall in love and you're sort of establishing a home, you move because that gives you a better opportunity to get a better work-home balance. You might be traveling a lot to and from a job and it's eating up all your spare time. Something like that is occurring, but I think you've been a bit circumspect about your material goals in particular, but this year you're going to actually say something about that. You're going to use that dragon energy to start to demand what you want and get that balance that you want. So what about your general energy levels? Because dragons are very energetic, and then the sort of generosity with others that can come from having that sort of energy. How is that operating for you in the Year of the Dragon? So 2024 primarily, and just the beginning of 2025. We have the Knight of Cups reversed, the Hermit. Oh, now that's interesting. The Page of Cups reversed. The Page of Wands reversed. Ah, very interesting. All right. The Three of Pentacles. Okay. I think for most people here, it's going to be one of two things in how this is playing out. For some of you, you are probably in a relationship already, so you're not focusing on the romance side of things. You're not in pursuit of that. You're not focusing on how you get what's in your heart or your passion or whatever. But it may be that the focus on the material has kind of separated you out a bit from the passion within your relationship. So there is definitely a call here in terms of how you use your energy to connect with your heart as well, because there's been a bit of a detachment from that. Not meant as a criticism. I think you've just been very focused on getting the material things right, if that's the case. So that's an important thing to get into balance, to reconnect with your partner, children, whatever it might be. If you aren't in a relationship at the moment, then I think this is showing that maybe for quite a bit of the year anyway, you're going to be more focused on the material side of things and maybe more on friendships. So I think this may just be a reminder. You do have to nourish that side of you, but you can focus on friendships and connecting to the material if you want this year. But just be aware that you are doing it a little bit at the cost of passion, if that's the case. So there again, it's kind of like if you're sort of on your own, don't think, oh, well, that's great. I'm just going to focus on making money and building things. I mean, you'll probably be successful, but you may miss out on some of the fun you could have as well. So there's something about getting these things in balance for you. And then what about your individual focus, your perfectionism, your self-esteem, things that make a dragon feel proud? What will make you feel proud this year? The World reversed, Justice reversed, the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay, you're righting some sort of wrong this year. King of Cups, King of Pentacles reversed. Okay, all right. So this actually shows a little bit more why you might be focusing a lot on the material. And as I say, I mean, if you're alone, you may choose to stay alone and only really look at love once you've got this sorted out. Or if you are in a relationship, you may need to think about this, because this looks to me like what's going to make you proud this year is righting a wrong, finishing something that should be finished, bringing something back into balance. A lot of the balance here, but it's almost like you're risking a bit of an imbalance in your own life to right a wrong or an imbalance that's external, something where fortune did not operate the way that it should. You're very emotionally generous about this, but something has to shift. There's some sort of the dragon is going to demand in this that there is a shift in power, a shift in where you sit. And I do think with the King of Cups upright and the King of Pentacles reversed, and when we have the Six of Pentacles reversed there, you're going to step up a level around your career or your vocation or your business. You're going to complete something that maybe was holding you back. This is going to be a very, very good year actually around that, and you'll feel very proud of it. And you will bring the right emotional balance to doing it, to be recognized. But I do think there is just a little bit of a warning about, is it at the cost of your other emotional life? So just to be aware of that. But you're very, very focused on success. And I think you're going to be successful. So what is the world bringing to your inner dragon? So if that's your inner dragon going, you know what, I'd like to keep things in balance, but if I have to, I'm going to right this wrong. I'm going to move up the ladder. I'm going to have success. What is the world bringing your dragon in response? The Devil reversed, Eight of Swords, Strength, the Chariot. Okay. The world will yield to you, basically. There's a liberation energy. This is a very good year for this. You are going to move forward very, very fast and strength to strength, and it will recognize your strength. This is going to be a very successful year for you, materially in particular, and how you want to be in the world, who you want to be in the world. So the world is opening up. Where it has been sort of stuck and unfair in prior years, the timing is shifting. It's actually going to open up things. It's going to release you from the constraints that you might have been in, and you're going to move forward very fast. But I think this is why Temperance was the card. It's like, make sure that in the midst of all of that, you don't get out of balance. You don't sort of like forget your loved ones, or, I mean, you could, if you're single, in practical terms, you could say, I'm going to just put love aside for the next 6 to 12 months if you wanted to. But if you do have close people in your life, then you are going to have to think about that, because there's a very, very strong push towards material change, all of those things. It's a kind of unsentimental energy actually that's operating. But ultimately within, you're being asked to try and balance things and not sort of like starve the emotional side of it. So what's very important about that is balance. And like I thought chakra energy would be interesting to look at for balance in this year for you. So let's just get 3 cards to show the chakra energies. What's in balance, what's out of balance for you as you go towards great success, I think. But, potentially at a cost of some of your joy in just being with people, love, children, all of that kind of thing. And actually, I'm just getting something else very strongly because of this here. If you are a parent and you are, as I say, focusing really on the work and all that kind of thing, it's wonderful. You're building a legacy, you're building all of that sort of stuff. But remember that what you do is being seen by your children, and they're inculcating the values. So it's really important to try and make sure that they have as rounded values as possible. I'm just getting that, like, there is just this sense that as I say, you are meant to be very successful and strike while the iron is hot, but people are watching you, including if you have children, your children. Okay, so the chakra energy. Firstly, we have throat chakra. Underactive. I talk, but I am shy. You haven't said a great deal yet. This is what I'm saying. It's like that thing around, because dragon energy, use the dragon energy, because the dragon energy is quite outspoken. And this is a time to draw on that inner dragon energy, because you can be outspoken about what you want and to go more towards what you want. So it's like you haven't said a lot leading up to this. This is going to be a time where you could actually get that into balance and speak more. It's interesting, it's the blue dragon that's smaller, and it's blue that's associated with the throat chakra. Then we have the heart chakra. I love, but I can struggle saying no, overactive. Now that's interesting. Maybe one of the things that kind of held you back from saying what you wanted to do materially before was maybe the emphasis was much more on that side of things in previous years. So it's like, how do you balance this off? How do you get the right balance of time with the people that you love, but also the right balance around work? That it might be that you want to be kind of everything to everybody. So just have a think about that, so that you get the balance right for you. And then we have the solar plexus, balanced. I do have healthy self-esteem, so that's good. You do know who you are. You know that you deserve better. You know that this is the point. There's a wrong to be right. This is right. There's sort of like a better career, a better outcome or whatever. And the tide is turning in your direction. You have the self-esteem to do it. Everything is primed for that to happen. I think it's just how you balance your love life or your family and being ready to speak out and use this dragon energy in this year, because I think it's going to be very successful for you. Okay, let's have a look at some astro energies. Let's have a look at some pairings of planets also for other energies that are operating for you in this year. Venus and Uranus. Okay, so if you aren't in a relationship, there is a very big possibility of one this year. So I think this is the other thing. It's kind of like if you're on your own, you're thinking, I can't just focus on my work. Leave a little bit of space for the unexpected in love. And it's interesting it fell under I talk but I am shy, because it might be that you feel very confident in your workplace to move forward, but then you meet someone and you're sort of like a bit tongue-tied or whatever. But I think that there's a kind of a surprise element that could be around love for you if you are on your own. And if you are in a relationship, it's like make sure you make the space for that, for spontaneity. Spontaneity is probably what you need around your love life if you're working really hard. Then we get Saturn and Neptune. You're working really hard to go towards your dreams. You really are. But you do have a strong sense of responsibility. This is why this is coming up like the 5th house as well, rather than say the 7th house. If you have children, family, loved ones, you have a very strong sense of responsibility and you're very idealistic. So that's important. But like don't put too many, sort of limitations on yourself. Allow yourself to kind of just experience the warmer sort of feelings, not feeling it's all just about being the best steward for those that you care about. And Mars and Saturn, this is the time for the big breakthrough career-wise. It really is. You can really manifest something. You can really move forward. It is a really good year for that, around making money, your career, whatever it might be. Creative in an organisation, in a business is a very, very good year for this. So it certainly is important to focus on that, but it's also how you balance the other things so that you have a kind of a good balance with your love life, your family, whatever that operates with for you. So let's get you a couple of other mythical creatures to go along with the dragon to give you guidance this year. Pegasus, elegance. Through meditation you will be in love, and through love you will be in meditation. So that's kind of there. There is something about the Neptunian sort of energy, just making sure you get things in balance, spending those times together. Pegasus is also a kind of concept of freedom. I think there's some freedom. As I said, I think you've been held back, and it's okay. Pegasus would move very fast. It was a horse that could fly. So I think it's okay to really go with the wind on this and take the good opportunities when they're there. But with that meditation, make sure that you also have a home landing, a place to come that gives you a sense of love as well. And Minotaur, destiny. Love is our true destiny. We do not find the meaning of life by ourselves alone. We find it in another. So it's definitely wanting to say, love is important here. But the Minotaur is also facing our fears, going into the labyrinth, being stronger than you know, the sort of like the fears and the issues and the strength from the past. So I do think there's a kind of a freedom, a liberation, and a victory in this year for you. I think it's saying it over and over, but it's sort of like at what expense? So just to make sure, and you can do this, it's saying you can actually get that balance, you know, with the temperance, it's within you to do that. You just have to be aware of it. Okay. So just to finish off, and I was, you know, wanting these to just be fairly quick readings. So just to sort of bring in the new year energy, I'm going to use the Pride of Dragons, another dragon deck, to see a message from your type of Pride of Dragon to you, you know, just to bring this all together for 2024 for you, pile one. Wow, the Indigo, which is the Pride of the Heavenly. This is very interesting, given the children there, the sense of that there. This is actually a dragon that protects children. So there's definitely something here, like whether or not they're your children, whether it's your creative children, your business children, children otherwise in your family, there's something here about a more developed side of you protecting the younger side, or you protecting those who are younger, and the stewardship sort of energy. So this dragon embodies heavenly intuition. It's not tainted so much by earthly matters. So I think it's like there is a very big earthly focus for you this year, but this connection to children or to youth or to family or to legacy is the kind of the other side of the dragon. So one side of the dragon is wanting to make sure you're really, really successful. This side also wants to connect you to that sort of role of protecting and looking after others and what is in your heart. It says, when the Indigo dragon appears, you are being reminded that these children are in fact no different from any other generation. They simply were born knowing who they were from the very beginning. So it's connecting it back to Indigo children. So there's also maybe a connection to your own psychic ability and the psychic ability of others. So this is meant to flood your aura with an indigo spectrum of light and reawaken your intuition. So it is also connecting you back to the inner alchemist. So I would say overall, this is going to be a very successful year, but it's got a kind of a second level of legacy, and the legacy of love and the stewardship of love. So it's make sure that you're not too pulled in one direction or the other, but that you do cover both of those directions. And I think it's going to be a very, very successful year for you. So I hope you've enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So you go into the reading with death, and it's interesting the way that death is portrayed here. We seem to have like a dragon skull, a dragon skeleton, and so forth. So I feel like there's a sort of a sense of the foundational structure or the core of you important to this. Because when I think of a skeleton, I think of it's the sort of foundational structure that almost the skin and hair and all that sort of stuff is put on. So I feel like there's something here. Death is about choice and decision. There's a very fundamental choice here. And it's also interesting to see, say, a skeleton when we've got Chiron and Leo. What I feel like there is something about a choice to heal yourself and to heal others. Choice maybe to go towards a healing ability that you have. But it's meant to bring you your sense of sovereignty, a sense of who you really are, a sense of pride. I feel almost as though this is the dragon energy for you this year, is to bring back a sense of pride if it's been wounded. So I feel like there's been a reversal of fortune, or people haven't fully seen who you could be, that kind of thing. Now, it is possible that some of you, this could be very literal, and you're moving into some sort of healing profession. That's the other way I could read this, that it is the fundamental bone, the skeleton, the structure of who you are is to be a healer and to be seen as a really great healer. So there could be a bit of both. But I think for many of you, there's a kind of a healing of yourself and a healing of your pride. And the year of the dragon is a brilliant year for that, because the dragon is outspoken and intelligent and prideful, but in a positive sort of way and so forth. So I think this is a time to sort of regain pride if it's been hurt, or if you've been sort of felt that you haven't been able to shine. I think this is a year where that's meant to be restructured. You know, you're meant to kind of get the spine and the energy and the sort of the decision to move forward and to change and transform that. So what we're looking at the various elements of dragon energy for you this year. So the first one we're going to look at is your speech, your outspokenness, your intellect. You know, so what are you going to say? How are you going to express yourself to either, as I say, take on a healing role, if that's your sort of aim in life, or to heal anything that has got in the way of you being able to express yourself using the dragon energy. So let's first of all look at that. The Devil reversed, the Three of Swords reversed, the Two of Swords reversed, the Nine of Pentacles reversed, the Four of Cups, the Tower reversed. Now, the first thing that's interesting is the number of reverse cards. They're not necessarily bad. People who come to my readings know I don't necessarily see reversals as bad. But I do often see them as suppressed or a bit hidden. And I find it interesting that we get this in the row that's about outspokenness. So I feel that one of the things is the move towards that. And it looks to me like the one upright card is the Four of Cups. It's an emotional block. It's getting past an emotional block that makes me feel like you're saying what you need to say. Now, it could be that if you are a healer, you're very much helping people through their emotional blocks, and that's what you're going to get known for. And therefore, that's what you speak more of, and you're sort of known for on that level. But otherwise, I think it's an emotional block that you've felt from the past, that you've made a decision to transition and transform from. And you're going to do it step by step with the Tower reversed. You're not sort of like going out there and saying the world has to change around you instantly or anything like that. So it's step by step, and you are doing it connected with other people with the Nine of Pentacles reversed. It's not like you feel like you've got to go out only on your own. So part of this will be to find the right people to make the change with, to do the healing with. But the good news is that the energy, you will find yourself increasingly able to say what you want, that it is not as painful or as difficult as you thought, and that you don't need to have every piece of information to be able to do it. It looks almost as though you've been in environments where you had to be constrained in what you said, that there were repercussions if you said something that wasn't right, and it was very hard to know what was right. It's like, how do you navigate this? It feels a lot like being around social media, to be honest, and trying to work out what you can and can't say. But this looks like this energy is liberating you from that, getting you with the right people. And a kind of an emotional block makes you make the decision to really own this healing and to become who you are. So I think you start to speak more when you feel an emotional urge to do it. And then you're surprised because actually you're far more able to say what you want than you thought. So then let's have a look at your energy and generosity. Dragons are incredibly energetic, very directed. They're also very generous. So let's see the energy around that you're showing in this year of the dragon. Knight of Pentacles reversed. Five of Cups. Nine of Swords. Page of Pentacles reversed. Four of Wands. The High Priestess reversed. Okay. So it does actually feel a little bit more like you are a natural healer, and that's what you're moving towards. It looks a bit more like that than it does necessarily that you were wounded before and you need to sort of express yourself more. I mean, it could be both, but the reason I think that it looks a little bit like more the healing is I feel like you are part of the generosity of what you do is helping people break away from and kind of let go of the sort of material and emotional issues that have held them back and that have worried them. Like it almost feels like you kind of have a naturally therapeutic effect on people. And helping people find out who they are and bring stuff to the surface feels like a therapist, actually. I think if you are doing some sort of healing, it's some sort of emotional healing. The interesting thing, though, with the Page of Pentacles reversed is that you may do this. One of the things you might need to think about is your energy may be almost too generous. You might do a lot of this for free and just for friends and so forth. And this is something you could actually do something with. And maybe that's part of the thing too, that there was some sort of wounding you had or some sort of programming around this sort of stuff, whether it's spiritual or emotional or, as I say, therapeutic, should just be for free. But there's a kind of an invitation to think about it as a business, think about how you could materially do well from it, because you're very, very good at it. You kind of like take the material power out of things that were upsetting and worrying, and you bring in a better harmony and you get people to be able to see themselves more clearly. So, but you may have had a bit of a block around the materiality of it all. So that's something to think about. Are you being too generous? actually. Leo is very generous as a sign. It's one of its really strong qualities. So, but sometimes we can do that to a fault. So that may be something to think about. Then let's have a look at, therefore, your individual focus, your self-esteem, and that's also important for Leo. And your perfectionism sometimes. Dragons can be very perfectionist. So we have Ace of Swords reversed, Page of Swords reversed, Two of Pentacles, Ten of Swords reversed, the Magician reversed, Ace of Pentacles. Okay. I do think that there's something, I mean, much as I say, I think this is kind of showing you're a natural healer, but like whether or not that's what you're just meant to be doing and you're just giving away too much, or whether you're a natural healer, but you have to heal yourself first and where you haven't had a fair go of things. Either way, there is some drama that is ending so that you can sort of move forward. So a Ten of Swords reversed. And the Magician reversed suggests that you're ending the drama that might have been around people who didn't speak honestly or didn't deal with you fairly or something like that, or stood in the way of you doing what you wanted to do. That's shifting, that's going away. But it's like it's saying you have to make a decision about one of two things. It's almost like a choice of career, a choice of business approach, a choice of what your values are or whatever, because it's kind of, you haven't communicated the ideas that you could have. So some of it, if you are feeling not seen or not respected and you're trying to heal from that, some of it might be that you seem to people being undecided. When in actual fact, you're just trying to kind of keep your options open, but there's a point where you're just going to have to commit to something. Once you do that, a lot of the energy that's blocking you, whether it's your own doubt or whether it's other people, not telling the truth or whatever, falls away. But there's like a choice. You actually, and this is the thing, death is a choice. That's what it is. It's a choice card in the tarot. So there is a very material, significant choice here. And it's until you do that, people won't even know what it is that you want to offer. So if you are feeling unseen, it's partly because you haven't kind of said, this is who I am. You haven't kind of put your flag in the ground and said, this is what I stand for. So how is the world responding to your dragon energy or inner dragon energy this year? Pile 2. Eight of Cups reversed. The World. Justice. The Empress. Wow, the world wants to reward you. The world wants you to be able to finish certain things and move into what you really want to do. The world wants to give you a business contract or something like that. The world wants to give you abundance. But it's like you have to break a pattern. So this is definitely saying, whether, as I say, you need to heal from a wound that you have so that you can really come into your sovereignty, or whether you're meant to go and do something with healing and make it a business, there's actually a pattern you have to break, which I think is about maybe not feeling seen enough to commit to something in what you need to do. And it's really saying it's all within you. You just commit and then it's going to work. The world is ready. The world is ready this year to sort of like open up and provide you abundance. But you have to decide what you want it to look like. What do you want to start now? What do you want to change? There's a very strong change energy for you, but what do you want to change into? That's the thing you've got to ask yourself in this year, pile 2. So let's have a look at chakra energies. Let's see what's either over or under active for you this year. Like, I really do feel like the two storylines in a way kind of coalesce. I think there is a decision here to understand that you are a natural healer, whether you want to do that as a job or not. It could just be a string to your bow, so to speak, or whether you want to do it as a career. But I do feel that you've been unseen or unheard. But part of that is because you actually have to push yourself forward a little bit more. Use that Leo energy. Be the center of attention. Okay, so the first chakra energy is third eye. Underactive, I see, but reality is not clear. Yeah, I think this is the thing. I think that everything is getting ready to work well for you, but it's like you're not seeing that there's almost like an obvious answer and an obvious step. It's like this ray of light that's coming down towards Chiron through the forest. It's like just allowing yourself to see what the choice is. I think once you see what the choice is, that is really fundamental to you, it's almost in your skeleton, it's in your bones basically, then it will get clearer. We have the sacral chakra, balanced. I feel pleasure in life. So that's good. You're enjoying life even if you aren't fully, getting everything in terms of your sovereignty yet. But you are enjoying life, so that's good. And the throat chakra, overactive. I talk and my voice can be dominating. Okay, you might worry about that because I don't think you're saying a lot at the moment, but you might fear that if you start talking too much, because Leo likes to be the center of attention, you might feel, like I can't take over the room, or, it's a bit like if there's a doubt about, doing this as a business or whatever and whether you should do that, you might also feel that once you start talking, you're just going to dominate things. But the world wants you to step up. The world wants to hear what you have to say. So don't worry too much about that, I don't think. If anything, that whole energy is making you say too little, ironically. So let's see some astro energy as well. So if we about each of these sort of areas in particular. So when we're talking about maybe not fully seeing what the options are before you, or that there's a pretty simple choice, you've just got to back yourself enough to do it. The astro energy around that is Mercury and Venus. Yeah, it's like having the aha moment about saying what you want to say and knowing you actually can say things really beautifully. There's actually something quite healing in the way you speak, what you would say to people. And you probably, as I say, you probably do it with friends and family, not sort of for money or anything like that. And if you think about that, you actually do have a beautiful way of expressing yourself. And you're not seeing that in yourself. You're underestimating yourself a lot in that space. I feel pleasure in life. So the aspect around that, Saturn, okay, you give yourself a hard time. You really do give yourself a hard time, too. Because even like there where you're feeling like life is joyful, it's almost like you expect, and what's the cost of that? And what's the karma of that? And like, what should I be doing? There's a lot of shoulds around you. And I think it's better to be looking to some coulds or whatever. What could you do? Not what should you do? You're all over that. But there's something you need to heal. I reckon it goes right back to when you were young. I think that you had such a sense, probably you were made to be mature before your age, really. You were given such a sense of responsibility and so forth. And you're so hard on yourself. You think you talk too much, but actually you don't, and you speak really beautifully. You want to have pleasure in life, but you almost kind of limit yourself the minute that it could be happening. So let's see also around the talking, your voice can be dominating. Saturn and Neptune, yeah, you have this ideal in your head about what it should be like, and you don't think it's you. Wow. I mean, this is really interesting. There's a very deep wound here, Pile 2, and I'm not saying it to have a go at you. I'm saying you're being far too hard on yourself. But that wound is quite deep. Somebody, I don't know whether it's in childhood or in a relationship or whatever, has done a bit of a number on you where you feel to really fully express yourself and fully show who you are and come into your Leo energy is somehow like selfish or not reasonable or flamboyant when you should be sensible. Like there's something going on and it's stopping you from making the choice that you need to do. And yet if you actually just live into this kind of beautiful, healing, vibrant energy, then the world's going to open up to you. So there is some healing from some sort of programming from when you were young. I think this is what it's saying. And like what death is saying is you can actually deprogram that. Again, the bones, like what we've inherited, what are the programming we got from when we were young that made you old before your time in a way. It's like kind of healing that so that you can really come into who you are. And there's this opportunity to do it in this dragon year with the dragon energy. Okay, so let's get you a couple of other mythical animals on top of the dragon to help you this year. Wow, Selkie, metamorphosis. You have to grow from the inside out. None can teach you, none can make you spiritual. Yeah, this is a big transformation from the inside out. You healing yourself to come into who you are, getting past all of the kind of programming. And look at the fierceness there. You need to be a bit fiercer, I think. And Bastet, wisdom. Your mind is a powerful thing. When you fill it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change. Yeah, you'll be positive. Plus, Bastet is about having a bit of fun. Like, it's okay to have a bit of fun, Paul, too. You're so responsible. And that's a wonderful, lovely thing. But But, you know, there's even more that you can bring to the world, and it's really healing if you allow yourself to enjoy life too. Okay. So, just to finish off, I wanted to get you a dragon from the Dragon Pride deck. So we've had the dragon energy all the way through. This is a deck that has sort of like different prides of dragons at various celestial realms. So I just want to see what Dragon Pride member wants to close out the reading and bring it together for you, and what their message is for you, pile 2. Oh, how beautiful. Pride of the Archangels, divine law. Yeah, this is like, this is you going into that kind of maturity, you know, and being connected to the divine, but it's also, you know, the aspect of love as well. This is the Archangel Metatron. So it's writing your own story, you know, because Archangel Metatron is the scribe of the divine, like being able to do that, like healing from other people's ideas on you to become who you're meant to be. It's a seraphim dragon. Talks about its hawk-like wings and body of a lion. Okay, well, that's interesting. With the horns of a ram on its head, crowning its crystal blue eyes that see all there is to see across the realms. So it's this celestial intelligence of the seraphim. So your voice, the intelligence, is the important part of this too. What you speak up and say. It's about wisdom, logic, magic, all of that kind of thing. So this is basically saying, write your own story. That's what Metatron's all about. Write your own story. Connect with your own divine presence. Connect with your own sovereignty. You can heal, and you will heal others in doing this. But there is something profound where you took on far more than you should have. And I think from when you were very young, this is a year to break through. The dragon energy is going to help you break through. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man traditionally is about needing to have a different perspective, sometimes needing to sacrifice something or let go of something to be able to move forward. Sometimes it's we're a bit too stubborn or we're a bit too stuck. So it's interesting, you know, in a year, the dragon energy is a very dynamic energy. I think it's an energy that allows us to become unstuck if we're stuck. And it's interesting here we have the sun in the 4th house. So I feel like there's a few ways this could be playing out. One is that the sun in the 4th house in some ways astrologically can be very strongly connected. The 4th house is who we are at home. And it's said that the sign that's on your 4th house cusp, which is called the Imam Koli, or I think that's how you pronounce it, or IC, more traditionally it's called the IC, will tell you a lot about who you are at your core because it is who you are at home. Whereas your sun sign tends to be the sign that you're developing into. So if you, say, had a Virgo 4th house cusp and a Scorpio sun, you'd actually at core be very Virgoan, and that would be a very strong aspect of you, but you would be developing more and more over your life into your sun. It's possible that for some of you who've come here, your sun is in your 4th house. And so this is a year where you have to kind of think about, have you got stuck in developing who you want to be? Because one of the things that could happen if you had the sun in the 4th house, if normally your sun is kind of a different developmental path to the 4th house, which is like a foundation, it could be where we get a bit stuck with what we were when we were born, who we are at our core, and we're not evolving as much as we could. So there could be a message here for you about becoming unstuck in any way where values and traditions that you got as you grew up, things that you sort of take as almost fundamental, maybe blocking your growth, and thinking about how do you liberate the sun if that was the case. Now, not everybody who's come to this reading is going to have the sun in the 4th house. So beyond that, I think we're looking at two things here. One may be a very pragmatic one, with the sun being your life path and what you're developing into, the 4th house being where you live. For some of you, you may have to rethink where you live for a career or for some sort of thing that you're trying to pursue. Or, you know, you could be at a stage in your life where you live in a very cold climate and you need the sun. There could be a very pragmatic thing here about getting a bit unstuck and thinking differently about where you live to follow the life that you want to live. The other thing may be that there's a question about, once you have worked out your life path or what you're doing, how do you make yourself at home with it, and how does it impact your home? So I just think that there's sort of some very pragmatic things here. There's one where you could have got a bit stuck in who you are at the core compared to who you're developing into. So this could be a kind of dynamic year for making that breakthrough. But otherwise, I think it's very pragmatic. It's like the impact of something like a career or a life path on where you live, or how you make sure that you can pursue that, plus also, having a good work-home life balance, that kind of thing. There's another reading in this group that was a bit like this too. So some of you might have gone to two. And it's a very important thing, like getting the work-life balance operating. So that's a possibility. But the Hangman would suggest you need to think about these things. There's something that's maybe a bit stuck, or almost taken as it is what it is, when there's still a developmental sort of path to go on. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look with the tarot at different aspects of the dragon personality as how it might operate for you in this year. So the first one is around your speech, your outspokenness, your intellect, because the dragon is very smart and likes to talk about what it sees and thinks. It's outspoken, it's not shy. So let's see that dragon energy for you this year, pile 3. 8 of Swords reversed, 5 of Pentacles reversed, 6 of Pentacles reversed, Temperance, Ace of Pentacles reversed, the Devil. It's very interesting for this line in all three, I can say at this point, is that there's a high preponderance of reverse cards. Now, reverse cards are not bad, but it interests me because they're often suppressed energy. And this is the line that we're talking about, outspokenness. I think there's a very big thing this year for sort of everybody who's coming to this around really finding your voice. I think this is like 2024 into 2025. The year of the dragon is really about that, because it's almost like everybody has quite a few things reversed, which tells me where silence is occurring. And then there's a couple of things that really break it through. And that's, for you, you've got Temperance and the Devil. So I feel like a need to bring things into better balance and an understanding of the powers of the world and where, work. I mean, I think there's a very strong thing here around work-life balance. I think for some of you, it's very much saying getting that into balance is what this is really talking about. And so it's very interesting then that 3 of the things that are repressed are, well, not necessarily repressed, but maybe just a little bit dialed down, are all Pentacles. So it has to do with kind of getting things into balance around work issues and freeing yourself from mental prisons that you might have around that. So it is saying that you need to connect with others, and you're meant to connect with your equals so that you can do this. But there's also like something new that you want to express or do. Now, this could be anything from moving to a new home to starting a family to starting a new business. So there's definitely something that's kind of very material and very foundational that you haven't really spoken about as much as you could. But it's sort of like when you really work out kind of the material balance in your life, you'll bring the right kind of connections in, and you're going to find you can speak then. So this is definitely a year for telling the truth. I think this has been in all of the readings. It's very interesting how that first row is operated. So then the second one is about how you use your energy, both in terms of moving forward and also your generosity, because dragons have a very generous energy. And is that in balance, what you do for others and, energetically, and what you're doing for yourself? The King of Pentacles reversed, the 7 of Pentacles, the 5 of Swords reversed, the 4 of Swords reversed, the 7 of Swords reversed, 6 of Swords reversed. Okay, this is very much about what you do and don't say and what you think. So it's interesting. So in the row that you would have maybe expected more swords because it's about what you express and your outspokenness and your thoughts, we had lots of pentacles. In the row that's about your energy, which you might have expected more wands of anything, we've got lots of swords. There's a lot of thought going into this year for you. You are going to be very realistic about it, and you're going to have a mind to what can grow. And you won't give up on anything that you think has going to have a return on investment. So you're prepared to sort of like hunker down and really see something through, which is really, really good. You're also likely to be you will talk more than you have in past years about this. But what you have to be aware of, and this is why it's important just to stick at what's going to grow, is that you're not really sure with the 6 of Swords reverse and the King of Pentacles reverse, what out of all the activities that you do and where you put your energy, what ones are going to do the return on investment. So I think you have to be really analytical about that as you go along, because you could be drawn in a number of different directions. You know, when you're thinking about the generosity side of this, where, you know, like to help others and so forth, that may not be going to give the return on investment you need. So you need to be really clear about how much time you can put into things and so forth, and very, very realistic, because it's going to be a year that there's a lot of opportunity, but I think it's likely to really manifest properly, say in 2025 or later. So you're going to go through this period of time where you're not really sure about the outcomes of a lot of where you're putting your energy. But it is saying if you're analytical, you'll start to see where you need to put your energy. And that's when you're going to need to speak up about, no, I can't do that because this is actually the priority. Okay, so then when we look at the other aspect of dragons, tends to be a kind of a very individual focus, a kind of perfectionism, self-esteem, pride where it's warranted, that kind of thing. So that energy for you: Wheel of Fortune, Two of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, Three of Pentacles, Page of Wands, King of Cups reverse. Okay, so for a start, you're very, very smart. Like all this sort of like energy, it's very mental. You have very, very strong mind. Very, very strong mind. Wouldn't be surprised if either the fourth house or the sun in your chart are an air sign. So very, very clever. So, and you know, and you are a bit of a perfectionist, to be honest, because the Queen of Swords can be a perfectionist, and this is the line where the dragon perfectionism energy comes. You're very good actually at assessing options and to see which have had their time. So this is going to really help you in this, because you're not going to be sure for part of the year, but you've got a really smart mind. You can really work it out. You're also really able to find the right people to work with and connect with and collaborate with, so that like creative energy and fire energy can come in. The only thing to be aware of is that with the Queen of Swords here and then with the King of Cups reversed, you might be such a perfectionist that you're either a bit too hard on yourself or sometimes a bit too hard on others. So just be aware of it. Looks to me like you are more the thinker and the strategist, and maybe the money person. Somebody else may be more the creative person, and they're a bit more emotional. So just be aware that you would be able to, because you're such a perfectionist, you would be able to kind of take any critique and you'd be perfectly fine. Other people are a little bit more sensitive, so maybe be aware of that. But otherwise, I think this is going to be a very fortunate year, because even though you don't fully know what you're going to ultimately do, once you start to shift this energy and get unstuck and be comfortable in that kind of less clear pattern, your analytics are going to help you make the right decisions. So let's see what the world is bringing your inner dragon in this year, if that's what's going on within you. The Two of Swords reversed. It's not giving you a lot of information. This is very clear. The world isn't giving a lot of information. The Five of Wands reversed, but it's not fighting you. Page of Pentacles, there will be resources available to you. Nine of Cups, and your dreams can come true, but it's going to be down to you. There will be the resources available to do what you want to do, but the world will give access to that and to you to be able to follow your dreams. And it's not going to stand in your way, but it's not going to help you really. It's sort of like you've got to plan and strategize all of this. It's sort of like not like everything sort of all you can eat buffet. You're going to have to be able to work out what the sort of business analytics are, what is you're trying to do, and move forward with that and use your analytical mind. Okay, so let's see how the chakras are, whether they're in balance over this year for you. Okay, so solar plexus chakra first. Okay, underactive. I do have a victim mindset right now. So you may have felt that something has got you stuck. This hangman, you might have felt you're stuck. You know who you want to be, you know what you want to create, and you've been stuck. That's going to shift this year. Anything like you're going to work out where you've been stuck with the devil. You're going to bring it more into balance, and your mind is what's going to do it. But because your mind's so strong, if you sit in this sort of thing of thinking that everything, life's unfair, and I'm just stuck, and what can I do, you won't move any further. You've got to use your mind to break out of that. Heart chakra. I love with respect, balanced. Yeah. So yeah, there's no difficult energy there. If you've got, if you've got loved ones, if you're living with people, if you're like, there's no real issue around love, I don't think. I do think, as I say, it could be some people you work with who are a bit more sensitive than you, but I think that you do respect people. I think the love is there. I don't think there's a huge issue around love for you this year. Either it's not really a big focus, or that's all okay. Home is fine. This is much more in the material world, I think. And third eye chakra. I see and can lack clarity, overactive. So maybe sometimes you connect in too much with other people. If you've got that really strong mental acuity that we're seeing with the Queen of Swords and other things, you may be highly telepathic. Might be important to think about what your boundaries are there. Like really assessing when you're getting confused or things seem difficult and you're not getting the information you want. Maybe it's down to that you're getting almost too much information. So if you have some boundaries and simplify things, that could help. Okay, so let's also have a look at astrology energy around each of these. So around the victim mindset, turning your mind around to understanding its strength rather than living into the frustrations that had you feeling stuck. Venus and Chiron. Yeah, it's kind of like a healing energy for yourself and getting back into your heart and remembering your love with respect. Like, in fact, the more that you think about how you respect others and care about others, the less you're likely to sit in a victim mindset. The more you're likely to then think about what do you bring to the table, come out of that and use your mind in a way that's healed. You're meant to sort of get some really great outcomes. You're meant to get your dream this year. Loving with respect, which is a really balanced energy for you. Mercury and Chiron, okay, there you go. See, your heart helps heal this mindset, and then your mind helps your heart stay healed. That's actually really nicely in balance. And again, when you really know what this is, when you feel you've healed what you want and what your dream is, you can articulate it in a way that will be really positive for yourself and for others. But where you might feel a bit overwhelmed with information because maybe you're a little bit too telepathic, we have Venus and Saturn. Yeah, the heart energy that's loving with respect and opening the doors needs some boundaries. Because it's like, again, you could have been being overwhelmed. And it could be what's got you stuck. People may not be against what you're doing. The world and timing may not be against you. You just might have been overwhelmed. If you can like step back, use your intellect to put some boundaries around it, you'll always, speak well with others. There'll always be heart to what you do. But you do need to heal something and have some boundaries. That helps you work out what you want to do and analyze it and get to the outcome that you want. Let's also get you some mythical creatures on top of the energy of the dragons. What other mythical creatures could help you this year? Anubis, pilgrimage. Don't be in such a rush to figure everything out. Embrace the unknown and let your life surprise you. So there is the unknown. There is going to be the unknown. Know that you're strong and smart enough to deal with the unknown. You can go into the underworld. You can see, you could talk with Anubis. You could be down there because you're strong enough to do that, and your mind is acute enough to be able to find your way. So don't worry if it's all not mapped out for you. That's going to be half the fun of it when you start to look at it that way. And Hela, forgiveness. In the end, only three things matter: how you loved, how well you lived, how easily you let go of what wasn't yours. So there may be a thing here about if you were feeling blocked before, that wasn't yours. Go towards what is. Use that even as a thing. It might be one of the best barometers you have is if something gets blocked, it might be saying it's not what you're supposed to do. Though I do feel with some of the earlier cards that it's not completely that, because I do think there's some things we're saying don't let go because you can see it's growing. It's just a bit slower than you might think. So you do need to really understand the difference between a block that's stopping you and a block that's just slowing you down. Because if it's slowing you down, it could still be something that really is worthwhile doing. Okay, so just to finish off, I wanted to get you a dragon from the Pride of Dragons Oracle. So they're different sort of prides or teams of dragons at different celestial levels. So just see which one has a message for you for the Year of the Dragon and to bring all of this together. Sword of Deliverance, Pride of the Archangels. Deliverance, yeah, breaking out. It's even got a similar colouring. Breaking out from the kind of energy of feeling stuck, delivering yourself, being able to move forward. So just looking quickly at the book, The Archangel's Michael. So yeah, being able to take things on, having that strength to take things on. And the Archangel's sword is really powerful to cut through things and to get to what you want. Even to cut the hangman down so that you can move forward, I would say. So this is, Michael's dragon leads the march of his army of light, an armada advancing across the realms in the name of the Christ life itself. You are being called to soldier forward, so take up the sword of deliverance and fight with the army of light. So you very much have a purpose here. It is your life purpose. It's who you are at your core, but you're stuck. But being stuck is part of the information that helps you on your pilgrimage. So don't see it as sort of something that you're a victim of. See it as another piece of information, because you're meant to be in a kind of chaotic position for a little while, but find what is going to grow, and it will grow this year. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.